Hi, my name is Molly Zanger. I'm a student at Barnard College. I guess what I'm basically wondering is what your main considerations are when you're choosing where to donate and what causes to donate to, and what the main challenges are that are associated with that.
Yeah, well, I wholesaled it because I made a choice that I wanted to have. Well, originally, my first wife and I planned that I would pile it up and she would unpile it, but that was plan number one. But she died in 2004, and then I had the problem of figuring out the best way to distribute what would turn out to be a lot of money, and I wanted some people who had similar values and similar objectives to what I had, but I also wanted people who would pour in intelligence and energy, and in the case of Bill and Melinda, a lot of their own funds, would work at it full time, but who really saw society as I saw it, which was that every life is of equal value. And that if you start with that, and then you figure what you might be good at changing, whether it's in medicine or education or early learning or whatever it may be, that was my answer, was the wholesale. I mean, retail philanthropy would drive me crazy, but wholesale philanthropy I really like.
Bill?
Yeah, for our work at the foundation, the belief in innovation, which both Melinda and I saw at Microsoft, our question was, okay, how do we bring that kind of innovation to help the world's poorest? And we learned that coming up with new vaccines, that although you can pay a lot to have them created, the marginal cost comes down to less than $1. So getting a new vaccine for the main cause of diarrhea or pneumonia, that can be a phenomenal thing. So you're looking for these super nonlinear dramatic things, because as a per poor person or compared to government funding, philanthropy is actually quite small, and yet funding vaccine projects, the government isn't as good as that as a philanthropist who assembles a team and over time is learning how to do that very well. And we had models. Rockefeller Foundation was a phenomenal foundation. The Green Revolution is just one of many things that they did which raised agricultural productivity and avoided hundreds of millions starving. And so studying the other foundations that have taken these big breakthroughs and created a model out of those, that was very informative to what we've gone after.
What's the most important lesson you've learned, though, about making investments from the foundation today that you learned along the way?
Well, I think when we started out, I thought that just coming up with a new vaccine or drug alone would be enough, and that the world would then take that and get it out to all the children of the world. Partly through field visits I did, that Melinda did, looking at the statistics. That delivery system doesn't get out to a lot of the kids. And so having to figure out how people were hired or how that was funded and measured, this what's called primary health care, we were drawn into that out of necessity. It didn't fit the normal sort of in the lab, come up with this great concoction. And yet, in order to achieve our goals, we needed to think about those delivery pieces. In fact, sometimes the state of the product actually had to be simpler in some ways in order to get through that very limited delivery capacity. And now we're getting to 86% of the world's children with vaccines. It was about 70% when we got started. So that's a good increase. We still have 14% to go.
Bill and Melinda have amazing convening and persuasive powers as well. So, I mean, they bring something far more to it than just money. They work incredibly hard, as do my three children in their foundations, but they work incredibly hard at getting governments involved in vaccines or whatever it may take. And that just is, it's an extra dimension that I think very few people have in the field.
Yeah, I mean, it's a hands-on
well,
travel to experience.
When Melinda is in Africa and she's holding a little baby, I mean, she is actually thinking, this kid needs to be vaccinated, has a decent chance at an education and all that. I feel the same way about the kid, but what I really think is he's going to pee on me, can I hand him to somebody? So there's just a difference in that human touch that makes a big difference.
I'm halfway in between.
I think he's closer to me, actually.